And now, without further ado, we welcome on stage our first competitor, Krzesimir from the European School 1, who competes for the 6th time in a row with an informatics project. His project is called Genetic Group Training Algorithm, based on NeuroEvolution of Augmenting Topologies and using logarithmic fixed-point number system optimized for microcontrollers. He successfully adapted the NeuroEvolution of Augmenting Topologies algorithm in order to apply it to solving problems involving multi-agent systems. I'm very curious to learn about how he did it. Let's hear it from Krzesimir.
So basically a square box. And what I wanted to try to make them do is for each agent to drive to a randomly chosen location while avoiding each other. So they had to both learn how to drive and to cooperate. As you can see, an agent has to drive from point A to point B while avoiding other agents, which proved to be difficult considering the agents had only a single motor in them. So I created and so my approach used the following diagram. It looks quite complicated, but it can be split into multiple parts. Firstly, I had chosen some parameters, such as the agents I use, the perimeter, the other simulation parameters, such as the number of models I was going to train, etc., etc. And then I had two different stages. Firstly, I have trained all of the agents in a virtual simulation. So instead of just straight putting them into the physical world, I first try to make them learn the task virtually. And only then did they transfer to the physical world. This has proven to be easier to train them, as I didn't have to worry that they were going to, for example, run into each other and damage themselves at an early stage of training. However, there was a problem with this method. See, this diagram may simplify it a bit. However, actually, this is thousands and thousands of line complicated code, which small microcontrollers simply cannot run. So that's why I have created a new logarithmic number system. But what is a logarithmic number system? Well, as you usually know, when we have in a normal number system, we have addition, multiplication, and exponentiation, which are assumed to be operations. However, in a logarithmic number system, we can shift all of them one step downwards by changing multiplication into addition, exponentiation into multiplication, which greatly improves the efficiency of evaluation of large models. So basically, theoretically, it's a very simple transformation. It just takes the logarithm of a number, and the reverse transformation is the exponentiation. But in theory, it has proven to be much more challenging, with many difficult equations to solve when actually implementing the model. But it's all great in theory, but how does it actually work? Unfortunately, the project was slightly too large for me to bring it on stage. However, I have recorded a short demo at home. As you can see, the cars are driving around to their respective targets while trying to minimize the amount of collisions. Granted, it's not perfect, mostly because of the error of measurement, for example, as the only method of calculating where the cars are was a grid system that with tags that are 10 centimeters apart, meaning the accuracy is left something to be desired. However, with these constraints, the cars have still learned how to drive together whilst avoiding each other. So this is the basic overview of my project. If you have any questions, I'm welcome to answer them. Thank you.
Krzesimir, this is your 6th participation to the contest. You are the all-time record winner of the FJSL. Now you're in top 10 this year. It's like the normal path, the traditional path for such a brilliant candidate. How'd you feel?
I mean, it isn't stressful anymore. Like when I was like 12, 13, my first participation, that was stressful since I was young and I didn't really know what I was, let's say, signing up for. Now it's my 6th year. It's easy.
Business as usual.
Yeah, pretty much.
So if you reflect now a little bit on your career as a Jonk Fuerscher, what was the best moment ever?
I mean, no. I mean, of course, I'd say that the time I won my first prize, yes, that was sort of the thing that gave me the motivation to really move forward with it, because
What was the prize?
that was the casting in 2019
So the
in China,
contest in China.
in China, yeah.
Wow.
I was in Macau and Hong Kong for I think almost 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I think that sort of winning that prize whilst not yet knowing what even if I could win a prize, that really gave me the motivation to move forward with it. So yeah, I'd say that.
So, congratulations on your presentation.
Thank you.
I have to admit, when I saw your report, I didn't understand anything because I don't come from this field, and let alone the title can like make people scared a bit.
Yeah.
I was wondering, now when you did the presentation, I understood a lot more, but I was wondering still, do you have peers to which you can talk about those subjects? Do they understand this, or who are you talking to when you do the project?
Well, when I do the project, I mostly work alone, mostly because then it's easier to schedule everything, especially when now I am creating multiple projects at once, because the larger they are, the more they take to build. So it's easier to work alone while doing the projects. However, at school, I have other people in my class who also generally are interested in, for example, programming and robotics. So
That's very nice. So some common topics then. So you mentioned that it is your 6th time participating. How would you say have you evolved personally? Do you have any skills that you acquired over these years?
first of all, I used to stutter a lot, and now it's pretty much minimized to a pretty much 0. So mostly just my presentation skills in front of other people, just really presenting on stage, going and presenting, and really trying to basically overcome the basically stuttering I have. So mostly that, and then just generally being able to write a sort of report, a basically white paper about a topic that I did some research about. So mostly just mostly research and presentation skills.
Very good. I have to say, I didn't notice your stutter when you were on stage. So congratulations. Maybe a last question is, do you have tips for others now that you're, as you say, business as usual for you?
I would say that if someone wants to create a project, they should, because there are effectively everyone wins something. So you really should do it, because you will have a great experience, you will meet new people, you will also learn how to, for example, present in front of the judges, the jury, or on stage to exchange with other people. So I say that if you are debating, just go for it, because it's a good idea.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Very good.
What's the next step for you now? You're going to university, right?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
So I have been accepted just recently into Imperial College for Mechanical Engineering.
Wow, congratulations.
So I am hoping to study there next year. Mm-hmm. However, I have the project for next year's contest here pretty much ready. So already.
Oh, can you tell us what it's going to be about?
So it's basically an adaptive camouflage that is based on different mechanics from quantum physics and wave function collapses. So it's again linked with.
You always select very easy challenges, right?
Simplest topics possible. Yeah. So it basically is able to, for example, camouflage a car and an object in front of a terrain whilst making the camouflage adaptive.
Maybe a more personal question now. You have all these projects ongoing at the same time. How do you optimize your time to manage to get all this work done?
So I have a pretty detailed schedule for when I work on which project. Firstly, I generally just in free time I try to generally do something related to a project to see even if it's feasible, if it works. And then as I basically do more in the project, I then at some point create a schedule for example, for which contest it is. how much time I'm willing to spend, how large the budget will be for it to be, and when should I start, and when should I start programming, building, when should I create the plans, and then and also scheduling everything together with other projects so that it all lines up.
What's also amazing is that beyond these optimizing skills that you obviously have, you also like to reflect and philosophize a little bit. And I remember when we were in Taiwan together, do you remember we were walking along the river on the second day, and we were having this philosophical conversation about the laws of physics, God, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought to myself, wow, what a mature candidate. He has all this this reflection already present in his mind. And so I have a new question for you now. Since you're using so much AI in your projects, do you feel someday robots, algorithm will replace humans? Do you fear that moment? That's the second question, or not?
I would say, will they replace humans? Well, it depends on the context. If it is let's say, if it is something that can be automated and will be quicker when done by robots, it will be replaced in the coming 5 to 10 years, definitely, because it's just how cutting costs work, and it's higher efficiency. However, when it comes to mainly creative work, let's say, that's harder because usually it is an expressive work, and that requires some sort of also inner reflection and emotion. So that's harder for robots to replace. I'm not saying it will never happen. As the technology gets better, it will get closer. It will get closer to the real thing. However, I'd say I'm not particularly fearing it as things such as, for example, if you. The main problem we have now is that the more content is AI generated online, the worse the AI generating models will get, because they will just be training on their own core content, which won't get them anywhere. So currently there's a sort of, we are hitting the effective limit of the data we can fit into these models, and then we have to figure out a new solution.
Would you like to work in this field when you grow up?
It's a possibility. I prefer to mix it with, for example, robotics or engineering. However, I'm not saying it's unfeasible.
So one last question for me. You mentioned that you do a lot of projects on the side, that you keep your time full of these projects. My question is, do you also lay sometimes just on the couch and do nothing, like we all do?
That doesn't. The thing is that due to the schedule, that doesn't really happen. I work from morning until evening, and that's pretty much the whole day. So there is pretty much no free time, because if I have some free time, I basically pick up a project that I was scheduled to do, for example, the next day or next week, because then I will, if something comes up later, I will have that extra, let's say, day, 2 days, week to work on it. So
that's very impressive, I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.